All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. Man, coming to you live at a not so usual hour. It is approximately 8:20 p.m. On the East Coast of the US, Miami and New York, which is where my laptop is always on that time. And man, Bitcoin took a turn for the worst. Normally, this is where I would have a tequila in my hand as we drink our sorrows away, but I'm taking a break between Brazil and Panama. Oh boy! All right, I'm taking a little break from socializing, which is actually part of my job. I mean, the way I get people to attend these things is I hang out with them and generally get along. Try to keep the shitcoiners to a minimum in my hangouts, but do the best we can. Not always successful. So let's go look at the charts. As you see by the title of this video, and I'm wearing this shirt for like the third video in a row, but now it may actually be time to buy the dip, and I'm going to go and take a look at why. All right, I click the button. Come on, Zoom, cooperate. There we go. Man, I need sleep. That's what I need. All right, here we go. I want to make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Like I said, it's been a long day. Okay, monthly chart. I still have the triangle, and I will keep the triangle until the end of the month because there's still a chance. Like in the movie. What was that movie? God, this is not a good week for my memory. I can't remember the name of the actor. What's the comedian's name? Oh, geez. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is not, it's already another bad start. Jim Carrey. There you go. Dumb and Dumber. There you go. Perfect. That's a perfect way to describe myself as well. Remember. And there's still a chance that Bitcoin can rally and close above both moving averages, above $43,000. It can happen. We've seen it before. We saw it here when Bitcoin crashed all the way down to below 4,000 and then rallied and closed the month at above 6,500, right? So it rallied about more than 50%, or about 50% off the lows. So if Bitcoin rallied 50% off the lows, it would be, at $14,000 to this, and that puts us all the way at about, 42 grand, right above the moving average. So it's possible. It is possible to do it. So it's unlikely, but there's a chance. So that's why I'm going to leave it. Now, do I still think that there is a very high probability chance of us falling all the way down to $22,000, $23,000? The answer is yes. But I would say a lot of people are now thinking that. So if a lot of people are now expecting it, then it's less likely to happen. No, guys, I don't really get drunk. Anyone that's been around me knows that I don't really get drunk. I just get tired because I do too much all day long. But I have a unreasonably high alcohol tolerance, which is also bad. I'm not saying I don't drink a lot. I'm just saying I don't actually get drunk. Like there are no crazy drunk tone stories. Even when I'm out with people and I've had, like 10, 12 drinks in a night or more, there's still no crazy drunk tone stories because I can handle my alcohol. I know when it's enough. And I usually just call it a night and go to sleep. So that's why there haven't been any crazy tone drunk stories. Also why I drink tequila. Minimizes the damage. Okay, so Let's go to the weekly chart. The weekly chart is completely in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, Simply Bitcoin's watching. Hey guys. Yeah, you've hung out with me. You've seen how hard I can go and still be functional. So here's the good news. The good news that we have made a clear, sufficient new low. That is obviously a new low in this trend since the first high back in April of 2021. Also, we are very likely to make a new closing low on the weekly candle. I'm saying likely, we can still rally, but we are likely to make a new closing low on the weekly candle. And that establishes a new low on both closing basis and intraday basis. That's the good news. Here comes the bad news. The bad news is that according to the MRI, you are only halfway to the trend of a weekly MRI buy. The other bad news is the fact that there is no actual technical support here. You are in the middle of nowhere. You're like in the middle of your parachute jump, okay? There's no support here whatsoever on a weekly scale. You're also below two moving averages. They are both starting to decline. You're below the lucid SARs. There's very little bullish, I can tell you, on a weekly scale. We can look if there is some divergence. There clearly isn't on the CMF. The RSI, the MACD is a disaster. And the RSI actually has way more room to the downside. All of these are bad signs, except potential divergence in the RSI with having a lower RSI before, and with the higher low, with the lower low coming in, but the RSI is going to be a little more bullish. That's slightly positive if we reverse here, but we don't know if we will reverse here. So we have to reverse first. So nothing really positive yet. Now, here is where we start to go a little bit in the positive direction. This is an MRI buy, but I don't know what it means on a 4-day chart. We are grossly overextended. I kind of feel like an idiot by not taking a short trade here, even though I was clearly insanely bullish over the last 2 4-day candles, but I did not pull the trigger on the short. Now, when I titled this video "Buy the Dip," I was planning on putting a little bit of a bullish position out here, but we've actually rallied since I decided to do this video tonight. So I am, of course, going to cheat, and I'm going to put this thing at a price when I made the, when I started typing the title of buying the dip. This is how I cheat. I don't cheat by much, but this thing was at 28.5, but I'm going to split the middle here. And I'm going to put this at 29K. Just a very, very small non-leveraged position for the sole reason, it's just 2 reasons for this, okay? One reason is that people are getting demoralized. And like, you should see some of my DMs. Like people are getting very demoralized, okay? Shitcoiners especially. Luna holders even more so. And I like the samurai buy. I don't know what it means really on a 4-day chart, but here's the chart that I do like. This is the daily chart. And I was waiting for this candle to flip, and I wanted to do this video earlier, but then I ended up chatting with someone about the summit. People have a lot of questions about this thing. So I have to spend like half my day, explaining to people why it's, money well spent to attend something this expensive. And the candle got away from me a little bit. That's why I'm cheating and I'm putting this, because I wanted to do this video like an hour ago, so that I was on the video during the candle flip, and it's already 8:30 p.m. New York time, and the candle started at 8. I like this MRI warning buy. Remember when this candle was forming 3 days ago, I said, man, it's going to be really difficult to get an MRI buy, because in order to get an MRI buy, I need a candle below this low, like the tomorrow's candle, not tomorrow's candle. This is tomorrow's candle. The candle after tomorrow, which is another really good movie, by the way. I really like The Day After Tomorrow. I like the movie. A little propaganda on the climate change stuff, but a cool movie. Also very geologically inaccurate, but I like the movie. I don't even know why I like the movie, but I like the movie. Like, geologically it was stupid, and from a climate change perspective it was stupid. But I like the movie. And in case people are questioning my geological ability, I actually have a degree in geology for your new view. Before I got my degree in financial engineering, I had a degree in geology. I just wasn't a very good geologist. And I realized that I wasn't going to make any money. So here's it's actually a good question. Okay, I'll go back to that. I'll go back on, well, like I said, this is my intention. My intention happens when I start making the video. There's an hour lag, right? If you want to, a play-by-play, that, I mean, I guess I could sit in front of my computer and stream 24 hours a day on my screen and show you to the second on when I intend to put a position in, but I'll probably charge you $100,000 a year for that privilege. So you get the best thing I do based on my travel schedule and when I do the videos of intention. Now, here's what you can do. This is my intention. Put it right there. I should have put it at 28.5 because that's when I kind of decided that this is a buy the dip opportunity. At 28.5, that's when I decided to do it. Okay. And then I'm like, oh shit, I should do a video if I'm gonna do this, because I don't normally stream at this hour. And in the 20 to 30 minutes it takes me to set up the video, the price of Bitcoin moved from 28.5 to 29.5. So I decided to split the middle and put it at 29. Now, there are additional options. If you were thinking of going long right here, if you were thinking of going long right here at the very low, you were thinking about going long, and then you missed it because you got a phone call from your mom or something that had to yell at you for whatever reason, right? And you then came back to the market and it's sitting right here. It's sitting right there, right? It's sitting right there at 29 or sitting right there at 30. Now you have to make a choice. Well, did I miss it? Do I just wait? Or do I enter late? And that is a decision you have to make. If you are depending on me for that decision, you are not going to be a very successful trader, okay? Now, what I'm saying is this vicinity is a buy the dip opportunity for a short to intermediate term where a person enters that position, whether it's right there to the very, very second, or whether it's in a few hours from now when the price is at 31,000, that is up to you to decide. And the later you go in, probably the less you should risk, because of a buy, when you have a buy the dip opportunity, it's not a breakout opportunity. On a breakout opportunity, the higher it goes, the stronger your case gets. But on a buy the dip opportunity, the later you get to it, the weaker your case gets. And this is one of those parts in trading that people just can't understand, that when you try to buy the dip, it is very risky. But when you buy a continuation, a breakout, it is a lot less risky. So you can risk more on a breakout trade than a buy the dip trade. And since this is a buy the dip trade, you want to risk early and you don't want to risk too late, because then the dead cat bounce might be over. So I am putting this in between what I wanted to put it and where it was when I hit the play button, because I hit the play button late. And I'm putting it right at 29. And if you don't like it, tough cookies. Jesus. All right, there it is. Now, why am I confident on a buy the dip? I'm confident because we have an MRI warning buy on today's candle. Now, today's candle still has 23.5 hours to go. And if this candle rallies above 30,000, we will actually, this MRI wording will disappear. And we will not get an MRI buy. But I'm also looking at how much this thing fell and how quickly it fell. And this is why it is a stupid question to ask a trader, at what price would you buy Bitcoin? Like, how far is it going to fall? At what price would you buy? I had no intention of going long Bitcoin at 27.7, but I've been watching it the last few hours as I've been working. And I like what we're doing right now. And I like the demoralized environment. So things change. We fell 42% in a short amount of time. In a little over, in about 6 weeks, we fell 42%. We are so overextended on the daily moving averages. Like, if we look at this here, from the low to the 200-day is 47%. And to the moving average that's highest is 56. So we got two numbers here, right? 47 and 56. Well, what about now? If I go to the low, this is 47. And this is 64. So we are more overextended now than we were right here the last time we had a daily MRI buy candle. So I am looking at the current daily environment, and it reminds me a lot of this daily environment. Did I think this daily environment was enough to take us to new all-time highs? Yeah, I actually did. But was I cautious over here at the 50-period moving average? I was. And was I cautious over here at the 200-day moving average with an MRI top? I also was. Okay. And right now, let's take a look if there's any divergence on a daily scale versus the last critical low. Well, right here, you have a higher RSI rating, right? The RSI reading on a daily is higher. But what about the price? Well, the price from here to here is lower. I like that divergence. I like that the RSI is not as low as it was back here. That's a bullish divergence sign. Okay. Now, what about the MACD? The MACD, what are we looking at here? Right there. That's January 2022. So let me go to the MACD. January 2022 is right here. So let's see what the MACD looks like. Well, the MACD is not great, right? Because we don't know, because that one could still reverse. So the MACD is like, you got to see what a cross was. So I want to see the cross. Can we still cross over higher? Probably not. Okay, so the MACD will not give us divergence, unfortunately. What about the CMF? The CMF is also not going to give us divergence. That's also unfortunate. But the RSI might. Volume is way higher. I like that as a bullish sign that this is closer to being capitulation than this because of the higher volume. See, capitulation comes on massive volume. You can see it right here as well. Boom. Okay. So these are all potential catalysts as to why I am looking to buy this dip, mostly driven by the daily chart. And we can even go deeper, right? So that was an extension C, not a big deal. I know it's a red star candle, but I loved this doji. Really love this doji. Is that the tone Vays volume? Look at the tone Vays volume, right? There is it's not publicly released. I know I should release it publicly. Several things on this 4-hour chart. One is this candle here. This red candle has a green volume spike. So it's the tone Vays volume telling me that this is a bullish candle, even though it has a red star on the MRI. I don't care. The candle is more important. This is a reversal hammer candle. Also on the 4-hour chart, look at the divergence in the CMF. I like that as well. I was watching this happen about more than 45 minutes ago, like a little over an hour ago. I was watching this candle form, and that's why I went live to let you guys know that towards the end of this candle, you can see that the price towards the end of that candle was still below 29K. That's what I made the decision that this is a buy the dip opportunity. Okay. Now, this also could have been a buy the dip opportunity had I seen it, but I didn't actually see it. I don't remember looking at this. This would have been yesterday around the same time as now. But I didn't look at the 4-hour chart. That is an MRI buy, but the RSI did not give me any divergence. The MACD did not give me any divergence. The MACD is diverging as well. So is the RSI. None of that stuff was happening. We did not have a doji candle. I would take this position. This is another important thing when it comes to trading. You guys know how much I love the MRI. It's my indicator. I love the MRI. But over here, the only thing that was bullish is the MRI. But over here, so many more things are bullish. The candle, the divergence across 3 oscillators. And I don't have a chart pattern here, but I will take divergence with 3 oscillators and the reversal candle over the MRI signal. As much as I love the MRI signal, I will take this over it. And this is, again, another part of trading where it's great to have one single system that you trust, but having 3 to 4 systems in hierarchy is better. 3 to 4 things. And then even though your primary thing says 1 to do something, and then your next best 3 things tell you to do something else, you go with those other 3 things. You know, if that makes sense. Now, how strongly do I believe that this move is gonna take us all the way back above these daily moving averages? The answer is I'm not very confident. Right now, my best case scenario for a rally off this low, my best case scenario for now is a move. And I'm going to put this arrow exactly when I decided to do this video, right? We're going right into 29. Okay. Right now, I'm going to leave this arrow because I kind of had this right. I still think that the highest probability chance we go lower than this low. But I'm not passing up the short to intermediate opportunity to get back to the area of the breakdown of the total collapse, which started right here at the break of the MRI support line at 37.5. So my best case scenario right now, before reevaluating the position, is 36,000. I am confident that Bitcoin will rally towards 36,000. And if it hits 36,000, I will strongly reevaluate that position. But I may reevaluate that position way before that. If we hit an MRI sell before 36,000, I will probably consider that a good dead cat bounce. But if we blow right through it, I will stay with the bearish trend. I just think Bitcoin is short to intermediate term oversold. And people got hurt financially. All right, guys, before I go on and look at some of your questions, the Financial Summit, awesome event. So come and join us in the Dominican Republic. I know the price of Bitcoin is a little low, so we would love to take that Bitcoin off your hands if you care to pay in Bitcoin, but bank wires are welcome as well. Join us for an incredible event between 50 and 75 financial professionals, small extra fee to bring a wife, girlfriend, husband, significant other, as we define significant other. If you're bringing a business partner, sorry guys, you have to get your own rooms. It reflects very poorly on an event for high net worth financial professionals if you and your business partner need to share a honeymoon suite together. AJP, is the bottom coming much sooner than 5 weeks or several months like you said the other day? What does that mean if it is? Well, I hope you've been watching the last 30 minutes, right? Because I just explained it. I don't know where the bottom is. I can only judge it. Anything I said in yesterday's video no longer applies. Anything I said in, or am I saying yesterday's video? Anything I said on a video 12 hours ago is now completely irrelevant. It only matters what I say right now, right? My view is now. When I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to look at the charts and I'm going to say something else. Now, if I don't talk about the S&P 500 today, then whatever I said last time matters because I didn't look at it, right? But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, it doesn't matter what I thought this morning. What I thought this morning is now irrelevant. What am I thinking now? And what I'm thinking now is that we have a buy the dip situation. We can rally for a dead cat bounce to 36,000. And then we have to reevaluate everything if it gets to 36,000. And if I wake up tomorrow morning and the price of Bitcoin is down to 28,000, I will need to reevaluate my position in the buy the dip. Jason Bourne, do not take advice from this guy. I agree. I agree with you. Do not take investment or trading advice from me. I'm just telling you my honest opinion of what I think about the markets from my 20 years of experience. Think about how much money you're paying for this information and then value that information accordingly to how much money you've spent on this information. Every single decision of your portfolio is your own. I do not hit the buy and sell button for you. You do it yourself. What about Luna? Stop wasting your brain cells thinking about Luna. I told you guys, Luna was one of my 4 best new scam possibilities for a crypto scam. Not crypto, sorry, the Scammy Award. They got the least amount of votes out of the 4 that I chosen for best new scam, but I saw Luna as a top 4 best new scam of 2021. So why is anyone surprised? Can I talk about the 3-day depth cross? I don't really care about the 3-day chart. I'm looking at the 4-day chart. There's not going to be any difference. I mean, it's not good. See, when you have a depth cross and the price is so far away from the depth cross, it is very common to get a snapback rally. So more reason to be a little bit extra bullish looking at the 3-day chart along with the 4-day chart. Wait, this was the 1-day chart. This is the 4-day chart. I lose. Every day I turn into a Bitcoin maxi. You're almost there, brother. Almost there. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. Keep learning. You'll get there. I'm off to London. Next spot, London. All right, let's just go through a chart and see how the market did. I really like this. The 1-hour chart. Let's take a look at what's going on in the 1-hour chart. Beautiful candle. Again, wow, look at that divergence. Wow, I like that. Look, this is the candle that made the lows. Look at your CMF on the hourly chart. Incredible. Wow, look at that. That massive divergence. Love it. RSI, divergent. MACD, divergent. Beautiful. I really like this. Hey, look, I wish I started this video maybe 3 hours from now. I could have recognized these hourly divergences earlier, but man, that's nice. If you go to a lower level time frame, you're going to probably see a nice ascending triangle here as well. Let's go to the 15-minute for you 15-minute traders. And not so much. Probably lots of divergence here as well. No, not really. Not so much. Not much divergence on the 15-minute. Just the hourly. Hourly looks great. It's really good. Looks really good. MACD's about to cross next hour if we go a little bit higher. All right, let's look at the other charts. Yeah, GBC premium. Bitcoin really needs to start rallying, and GBC premium will start to evaporate because hodlers are going to hold on to it. There won't be any GBTC for sale. But until that happens, there's another option here. If this ETF does get converted, if this GBTC is converted into an ETF, there might be a nice 30% dividend, right? Because there is Bitcoin backing this thing. So Barry Silbert shouldn't get to keep it. So you might get like a 30% dividend. or extra shares when it gets converted into shares. So I have no idea how they're going to do it if they let them turn it into an ETF. Oil, I'm still bullish. Gold, I'm still leaning bullish here on gold. Stock market, I'm not that bullish, but Bitcoin really shit the bed. So I think you can decouple for a little while. Bitcoin going off on its own a little bit, rallying, while stock market can still keep going down. I still believe that the stock market will find a low around 3,800 and then rally once again. But it may not. It may not. Notice I'm not buying the dip in the stock market, just Bitcoin. This is Coinbase. I mean, I hate the company. The CEO has had me blocked for over half a decade. And probably going lower. Thank you for the super chat, guys. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, David. And let's look at the Russian ruble. You know, I really want to start that political channel, but my focus is making sure the financial summit goes really well. So I just don't have the time, unfortunately. The Russian ruble is starting to appreciate again. And what do you think is going to happen? This is exactly where I thought it would go, to be honest with you. Look, this red line's there for a reason. So it rallied to the line. And now it's time for it to appreciate some more. And if the ruble goes below this line, which is at like 64, 65, let's say, I think it can appreciate a lot. Is there still a chance that Dems, meaning Democrats, can pump the markets before the midterms, or is it all hope is lost? Where do you see Bitcoin and traditional markets go? I do not believe that Democrats can pump the markets. I think the markets can recover. It's a really good question. I kind of hope this happens. This doesn't happen too early for the midterms. So maybe, you know, we go down, we can go down a little lower, you know, like there, and a little like before rebounding. I think they will rebound after the election. That's a really good point. So I don't believe the Democrats can pump the market, because the Fed, see, the Democrats are blaming anything and everything except themselves for high inflation. And in reality, I don't want to say that Democrats are to blame for high inflation. All politicians are to blame for high inflation. I don't blame the Fed for high inflation. I don't, okay? But all politicians, including Democrats, Republicans, and most people are blaming the Fed. I don't. I blame the politicians. I blame the politicians for inflation for two reasons, and I'm going to list them in order. Reason number one, the COVID lockdowns, the shutdown of the economy destroyed the supply chain. That's politicians. That's not the Fed. The Fed did not create the lockdown. The Fed did not sanction Russia. Okay? Those were politicians. Those reasons are primary causes of inflation. The second most important reason for the inflation is the money printing. Okay? The money printing is, again, mostly the fault of the politicians, not the Federal Reserve. The politicians pass bills. They just passed $40 billion to Ukraine. They passed ridiculous bills to give money to people because of the COVID lockdown that they created. The virus didn't create the lockdown. Politicians did. Okay. So reason number one for inflation is politicians shutting down the economy, creating sanctions, causing the misery of people's businesses. Reason number two is politicians deciding to print money for all the shit that they do. And then in the distance, after reasons one and two, we have the Federal Reserve and their mandate to support the economy and eliminate unemployment and solve climate change, which is their new initiative, and whatever the hell else they stick on this institution, okay? And because they're blaming the Fed, everyone's blaming the Fed for the inflation and not the politicians. The Fed is basically saying, F you, if you're gonna blame us for the inflation, we're gonna do something about it, that we're gonna raise the rate. Now, raising the rate to 0.5 basis point is irrelevant. It's not gonna fix anything, okay? But it makes everyone feel better that the Fed's doing something. So the Fed is raising rates because they're being blamed for the inflation. It's not going to solve the inflation problem, but it makes it appear that the Fed is trying to solve the inflation problem. But that causes idiots thinking that because the federal rate is now 0.5%, that's bad for the stock market. When in reality, it's actually not. It's irrelevant to the stock market. The rate could be 5% and it's not going to alter the stock market. Stock market speculation. Stock market speculation. Okay. People are going to speculate on the stock market if they think the economy is going to do better, if the stock's going to do better. And the rate's irrelevant. Whether it's 0.5% or 3%, it's irrelevant. Okay. So this is why the Democrats know that they can't pump the market, because they have to do something about inflation. And all they can do about inflation, they're not going to stop the $40 billion going to Ukraine. They're not going to, stop all this money. They're not going to stop all of these, fiscal insanity from the Senate. So what they're doing is they leaked the Roe versus Wade preliminary decision. Also, they know that Ukraine is getting destroyed by Russia, and they have to divert attention away from Ukraine, Russia, and it's like squirrel. They gotta get the news, the news to rile people up on something, right? So they've decided to make abortion the main issue for November. They're just scrambling, right? Like, what do we do? Well, economy was recovering, and Biden was going to take credit for that. The airlines forced, not the airlines, a judge forced the mask drop. Like the Democrats really wanted to keep people locked down, but people just said enough. And that actually works out in their favor because the economy was coming back. But then the Russia-Ukraine situation happens and everything shits the bed economically. And people are starting to see through the bullshit of, the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. So they have to come up with a new distraction because the Democrats, having, support Ukraine for the election was not going to go well for the Democrats in the election. Especially with passing, the $40 billion to Ukraine when, the U.S. has its own problems. That wasn't going to go well for the election. So they needed something new. And this is it. I think they are hitching their wagon to the abortion issue. And they think this is their ticket to winning the election. Though in reality, they're going to cheat again, so it doesn't matter. If you haven't seen the documentary 2000 Mules, stop watching me right now. Just stop. You can turn it off It's okay. You have my permission. You can stop watching my show and go watch 2000 Mules. Okay. I don't like how they filmed it. I would have rather saw it more as a documentary than a bad attempt to create a movie with non-actors pretending to be actors. Like, hey, honey, we should call this person and see what she thinks, because she has very good info. Like, come on, stop. We're not stupid. It's a documentary. Show the documentary. So you can stop watching me right now, and go watch 2000 Mules. Yes, 2000 Mules. Exactly. Google 2000 Mules. The number 2000 followed by the word mules. Yes. Honestly, there was nothing in that documentary I didn't know. I knew all that. I knew all that the morning after the election. It was obvious. It was obvious. Trump added trillions by cutting taxes for the rich. You ignore that started the inflation train. No. I don't ignore that started the inflation train. It didn't start the inflation train. I don't ignore something that is inaccurate. Tone, you are ignoring the fact that the earth is flat. No, I'm sorry. The earth is not flat. The earth is not supported by turtles all the way down supporting the earth. You phrased your question as a fact that cutting taxes creates inflation, which is so economically stupid. It's potentially stupider than thinking that the earth is flat. What do you know about 9/11? Well, I know that the conspiracy theory that fire-breathing ants or termites did not take down the towers. So outside of that conspiracy theory, that it was fire-breathing termites, which, by the way, was a conspiracy theory pushed. Outside of that conspiracy theory, everything else is potentially debatable. So I'm now focused on the financial summit, guys. I know Unconfiscatable was great, but it was very stressful. It was a lot of work. It made no money because I don't really know how to run a profitable conference. I just need people to show up and have a good time. But because of all the stress that it causes, I decided to hold off on Unconfiscatable for a bit. And potentially it's coming in October of 2023. But I'm going to put early October 2023 on your calendar for the next Unconfiscatable. Like, block off the first weekend of October 2023. It'll be around that time. Thanks, really, Rayleigh. Thank you. Haven't watched me in a while and you're back. Great. Watch building. I'm very aware of building 7. Very aware of building 7. It was a demolition. I mean, nothing touched building 7. It was demolished. I mean, why is that even debatable? Nothing touched it. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin. That's a good question. I don't know what the name of my political channel would be. I found a co-host for my political channel. She's great. It'd be an awesome channel, but we don't know what the name will be. Also, until I sell out the Dominican Republic Financial Summit, I don't think I'm going to start that channel. We're going to look at something else in the stock market. Yeah, I really like this 1 hour chart, guys. Really like it. It needs to just pass these moving averages. And man, we can really rally up to 33, 34. Tone, can you explain how your indicator is different from the mark? It's different in several ways. Most importantly, it's different in notation. The most important part is the fact that I don't use any of his trademarked terms. Like, I don't know if I actually say them out loud, right? So the most important thing of how it's different is that I don't use any of his notation. And that's really, really important. Because if it uses any of his notation, then it's legal issues. And other than that, it is different in a few other ways. But I don't know if I can explain the differences here publicly without mentioning any of the trademark terms. But there are some subtle differences. Most notable of those differences is the fact that I don't differentiate between perfected and not perfected. I also most notable is the concept of something like this. You see this number 2? That doesn't exist in the mark. So I allow for the possibility of multiple consecutive tops, which the DeMark indicators do not. Okay, so I have this as a top, and the DeMark indicators would not have this as a top. So there are differences. There's also on final candles, like on this candle here, I don't necessarily need to wait for the close. If this green arrow shows up at any point in the candle, it stays as an MRI buy. Again, differentiates it from the DeMark indicators. So there are differences along with notation. What's the success rate of the MRI? Well, you can't really measure success of any indicator, right? It depends on how you use it. This is why I haven't yet automated it for automatic trading, because you have to identify stuff. Like right here, I would know as of this candle, I would not identify this MRI as a top. as of this candle. But a similar candle never showed up later. So I would identify this as a top as the trend continues. So it's really hard to measure success because everyone's going to interpret these signals differently. Can we admit that this is being manipulated down? No, we can't. We cannot admit that this is being manipulated down because I've been mostly bearish on the price of Bitcoin this whole move down. So how can I tell you that it's been manipulated down when I expected it to go down because of TA? I wasn't confident enough to put on short trades, but I certainly wasn't bullish in the last month and a half even. Well, maybe not, let's not go that far. I'm thinking these is weekly candles in the last month. Yeah. All right, guys, I think I've been blabbing long enough. Hope you guys join us. You will not be disappointed. No one ever has been. We have testimonial videos out. You can check it out. Oh, how many subscribers do we have now? 85 subscribers, guys, on the financial. We have 500 people watching. This thing has like 5 videos. Come on, guys. At least let's break 100. We're not going to be posting much on this channel. We might post, you know, a few panels or presentations from the next event. But it's not exactly a channel that is going to spam your inbox here. And I'm merging all of these testimonials from 2019 into a single video so we can remove these individual videos. And then we might release, you know, like one more promo video or one more testimonial video. Watch it on 2x. Well, not this one. This one, watch on normal speed. It's 2 minutes. This one, you can watch on 2x speed, testimonials. Make it a 5-minute video. It's a good watch. Come on. Let's get some subs. Still 85. All right, guys, that's it for me. We can glance at Twitter stock and then call it a day. Oh, I think DraftKings was finally bottoming soon, right? Monthly MRI buy. Monthly MRI buy. Think about it. Right at support. Hopefully the market recovers. Your decisions are still your own. I would think about it. Canaan, the miner, back to $2. Wow. Wow, how's Bitfarms doing? Oh, ooh. Another potential buying opportunity. Yeah, so in the testimonial video, this one, we have Ben from Bitfarms. Here he is. Great guy. So I'm a fan of the company now. They have not beaten earnings. This earnings might be lower than expected. Oh, I keep an eye on this. How's the daily chart going? You know, a few days going into earnings. If they go down, oh, that could be a nice opportunity too. Let's look at Twitter and then call it a day. Yeah, you know, if Elon was really buying this thing for $54, it would be worth $54. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Last speaker, your live chat. Anything interesting in the live chat? Yeah, so Canelo Alvarez lost. I also heard he started a vegan diet, like in trading for his fight. Again, no correlation there, but just saying. Just saying. All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you all in about 12 hours. Have a good night. Why am I blurry? Still blurry. There we go. Better. Bye, guys. All right, come on, Zoom. You gonna stop my live stream or what? I don't want another disaster. I'm making sure I come off the stream. It just doesn't want to end. Maybe because I have too many tabs open.